Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. Today I wanted to talk about a really hot button issue right now because there are so many people who are waking up to the fact that our history has been fabricated. But I really need to point out this one thing. History isn't the only thing that has been fabricated. First of all, let me just apologize in advance because we are pet sitting Gemmy the gecko again, which means that I had to move where I usually record my videos, and I'm actually sitting in front of a shared wall with a rather noisy neighbor, so you are likely to hear some stuff coming through. So yeah, I'm sorry about that to begin with, but I did want to make this video today because as parents, especially parents who have kids in public school, a lot of people are starting to realize how much history has been fabricated. We're seeing it happen before our very eyes, how the stories that we've been told for generations are now being changed and we're supposed to believe something different. And we're all thinking to ourselves, how long has this been going on for? It brings to mind a quote from George Orwell's 1984. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. This is just one of many quotes that has a lot of people asking, was 1984 really fiction, or was he trying to tell us something? And that is a question that I myself have. And so a lot of us have put this particular quote and we've been applying it to what we see going on with history. And you could think of the party as the deep state. You could think of the party as the government, the bureaucracy, or you could actually think of the party as the newfound religion, the science. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today, because it isn't just history that's been fabricated. We are now in the process of seeing that science has been fabricated as well. And a lot of us knew this, at least for several years. More people were realizing this. Some people have known it more than several years. But as we can see in real time, the way that science is changing and science is being made to fit an agenda rather than the truth, it's time that we start admitting the fact that not only have we been lied to about history, we have been lied to about science, and it is an ongoing process. And you have to ask yourself, if we are being told the truth about things, why are they never to be questioned? Why are they never to be independently researched? And a lot of times the things that we're being told have no rhyme or reason to them, yet we are supposed to obediently believe everything that we're told. So is the worship of the science a new thing? No, not really. I think that, again, I mentioned more people are realizing it, but the science has been existent in science textbooks, for example, for well over 100 years. A lot of times when parents are looking at, the schools that their kids are going to, they're looking straight at the history textbooks. They want to see what their kids are learning about in history. But it's not just history that you need to think about. It is the science textbooks as well. And unfortunately, what I've noticed is that a lot of the misinformation and disinformation is actually more blanketed throughout the science textbooks. You can at least find some history textbooks that don't seem to be trying to push today's narrative, although you have to ask yourself, the narrative that these traditional history textbooks are pushing, is that even the truth? We're at the point now where we honestly don't know anything. We don't know what is true that is coming forth in our textbooks, unfortunately, no matter how old they are. But what we're seeing, though, is that the science textbooks really are more uniform throughout the public schools and even throughout the private schools. The science textbooks, a lot of things are just considered established science. But how do we know that they have not been fabricated? How do we know that a lot of the things that we are being told in the science books is not just speculation, like in the history books? A lot of that is speculation. A lot of that is outright lies. And you can only look at the things that are in science textbooks that will show you these things. So one of the things that kids learn about in science is the scientific method. But so many of the ideas and topics that are presented to children through science textbooks as truth don't follow the scientific method at all. So first, kids are uniformly taught about the Earth's core, and they're taught about all the layers of the Earth. And I even did it when I was homeschooling my kids a few years ago. We did a diagram of the layers of the Earth. How many textbooks, though, will tell you that we have only dug less than 8 miles into the Earth's crust? We have no proof that these diagrams that we are being told are what the inside of the Earth looks like, if they're even a fact. They're being presented as fact, and they are showing you computer models that are explaining to you why they're fact, but we are given no actual evidence that what they are calling the interior of the Earth is actually a fact. And I've actually come to the realization that I don't believe this at all. I taught my kids about the core and the layers and all that before I realized all the lies that we have been presented with. Another idea being presented in these science textbooks is just that these stars are trillions and trillions of miles away. Okay, sounds really neat, sounds really cool. It's a great basis for a lot of movies. But do we have actual evidence of that? No, there is no way that we could actually travel that far and actually physically measure the distance for how far these stars are away. So again, we are presented with computer models that can be altered or that can be made to look a certain way, and then they are backed up by mathematics that again can be made to support a certain idea that they want to present. We don't have any actual evidence that stars are millions and trillions and billions of miles away. We also have in the science textbooks beautiful color photos of satellites, and kids are to look at them and think, whoa, that's really neat. Look at that satellite out there floating around in space. Or they might watch a video of the lunar lander taking off from the moon, and the kids are thinking, wow, look at that lunar lander. It's floating away up into space. Yet it's never explained who took the photograph of the satellite floating around in space, who stayed behind on the moon and took a picture of the lunar lander lifting off. We have been so thoroughly indoctrinated with believing everything that we're told that we don't even learn to question these things anymore. So it's not just history that we need to look at. And honestly, it's not even just science. We need to look at everything. And as a homeschooling parent, one of my goals is to teach my children to ask these questions. Sometimes, yes, they may find out that they come to the conclusion that what we are being told about certain things is the truth. There are other instances though, that they might discover that it is very likely that we're not being told the truth. And you know what? I think that it is up to us as independent thinkers to be able to make these decisions on our own and to not feel like we always have to fall back on believing everything that the technocrats want us to. That's never a good thing, because the people behind those businesses or those industries that are presenting these ideas to you, they're always in it for the money and the power. They're in it for the greed, and you need to always follow the money when you are researching anything. So yeah, as we see history especially being, just completely wiped out and changed, I think that a lot of people now, because of especially what's been going on the last 2 years, they're seeing that the same thing is happening with science. So I just want to end this video with a quote by Richard Feynman, and I think it really sums it up very nicely. I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one either here or over on Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.